Jim Garner has died since I made this, but I don't think that changes anything. I am one of the first generation of people who grew up watching television. I have elsewhere deplored the sorry state of the programming, with a few notable exceptions, and television is an easy target for criticism and humor. But I had a thought that there might be a show or someone in the business that I admire after all these years of viewing and deploring. I did give this more thought, and the first thing that came up hung around and resisted other challenges. I may have another favorite tomorrow, but for today, my pick for shining TV star is James Garner, who I am told was born James Garner. He was on the show Maverick, which ran from 1957 to 1962. He was there for 3 years, then had a contract dispute, and that was that. He played Brett Maverick, and I had never seen anything like it, a Western with a twist. There were a lot of Westerns on early TV, too many to even mention, but none of the cowboys or marshals or gunslingers was like Brett Maverick. Even the way he was dressed, a fancy pants but not prissy, the dark suit with the $1,000 bill pinned inside the shiny vest, the bolo tie and the black hat that was usually cocked back on his head. He was a poker-playing card sharp, a gambler, a drifter, and well-schooled by his pappy, faster with a wisecrack than a gun. He was funny and a lover, not a fighter, but if he had to fight, he could always hold his own and more. He did his best to avoid trouble, but trouble had a way of finding him. It is said that he was TV's first anti-hero, and that might be accurate, but he was, very simply and completely, a hero to me, with no anti about it. He shared the show, that was unusual too, with another actor, Jack Kelly, who played his brother, Bart Maverick. They alternated weeks, and Kelly was good, he was acceptable, but he wasn't Brett Maverick. I loved the guy. Waited for his turn, and when he left the show, replaced by Bo and then Brent, I stopped watching. And years later, when they made a movie out of the story, I didn't bother, even though Garner was in the mix. Maverick, I even liked the name. I liked everything about the show. It was the brainchild of a man named Roy Huggins. Years later, Huggins wanted to recreate the magic of Brett Maverick, translate the character, find a modern equivalent. That's his version. Garner, who didn't trust Huggins, says that Huggins was working on another show, one that had a character in it that inspired the writer Stephen Cannell, who asked Huggins if he would mind if he wrote a script around him. Go ahead, Huggins said, and Cannell, who at that time could have written a producible script about a cat on the moon overnight, did it, and the script got to Garner, who agreed to play the role of Jim Rockford. The Rockford Files ran from 1974 to 1980. They did it right, as far as I was concerned. I loved everything about the show. Dennis Becker, Angel, Beth, Rocky, the cops who had it in for him, the trailer on the beach, the car, the answering machine opening, all of it. The show was developed in conjunction with an outfit called Cherokee Productions, which was Garner and two partners, Meta Rosenberg and Juanita Bartlett. Bartlett wrote over 30 episodes for the show, as did Cannell, and she served as the series story editor. I was amazed by the quality of her writing. Who is this Juanita Bartlett, I would think? The answer, in part, is that she was Garner's secretary, who started writing scripts for him, and he was smart enough to see how good they were, promoting her on the spot. It isn't often that you can see superior writing on a TV show, as you can, for example, when Neil Simon wrote episodes for Phil Silver's Sergeant Ernie Bilko. As far as I was concerned, if Juanita Bartlett was involved, the show was worth a watch. David Chase, who would go on to create The Sopranos, also wrote 16 episodes. As he had with Brett Maverick, Garner played the role of Jim Rockford to grinning perfection. And he had help. Isaac Hayes, as an ex-con who did time with Rockford and who called him Rockfish, was on some episodes, as was a pre-Magnum Tom Selleck, playing an ultra-successful PI that Rockford was not and could never be. The show had style, wit, suspense, and Garner, who despite his manifold quirks and failings, as both Maverick and Rockford was the undeniable moral center of the show. I liked him. I even liked the ads he did for Polaroid with Mariette Hartley. They say he did most of his stunts on Rockford, and the physical damage he suffered forced him to ask for time off. The studio claimed breach of contract, disbanded the cast, lawsuits followed, and that was the end. There were some TV movies in the 90s. I don't know if I watched them or not. Television on the whole is a rotten, pandering mess, but I had a good time with Maverick and Rockford, thanks in part to a dumb farm kid from Oklahoma named Garner.